And this, we're going to see now deeper. I mean, it's quite simple, but many of us have been in the setting where we buy things on Shabbos. This is actually something that happens that's more common than we normally think. It's true that what we saw previously, well, let's have a quick look at this, and then we'll talk about what is common, what isn't. It says the Mishnah, הולך אדם אצל חנווני רגיל אצלו, ואומר לו, תן לי ביצים ואגוזים במניין, שכן דרך בעל הבית להיות מונה בתוך ביתו. We're talking on Yom Tov. On Yom Tov, I say I need a dozen eggs. תנו רבנן, הולך אדם אצל רועה רגיל אצלו, ואומר לו, תן לי גדי אחד או טלה אחד. Right, this is, we're upping the game. Right? I need a goat, quick. Right? So I'm having a barbecue soon. Just get me the goat, right? אצל טבח, right, a butcher, רגיל אצלו, ואומר לו, תן לי כף אחת או ירך אחת. אצל פתם הרגיל אצלו, ואומר לו, תן לי תור אחד אגוזל אחד. אצל החתום הרגיל אצלו, ואומר לו, תן לי כיכר אחד בגלוסקה אחת. אצל חנווני רגיל אצלו, ואומר לו, תן לי 20 ביצים או 50 אגוזים. אצל מפרסקים, 5 רימונים ואתרוג אחד. I hope you're all writing down the list for next week's shopping, right? ובלבד שלא יזכיר לו סכום מידה, right? Meaning, the point is, you have to do it in a way that's not quite the normal way you do it. So you'd say, give me 10 cucumbers, not a kilo of cucumbers, right? There's no problem with doing any of these things. You can go and buy them, just like you could send them as presents on, right, Mishloach Manot, as we saw. You can also go and buy them on Shabbos and Yom Tov, right?
This seems to undermine everything we spoke about business on Shabbat. Like right? It's on purpose here that they talk about store owners here. It's not just going to ask your neighbor for a few eggs, right? So I can have the butcher can be open on Shabbat as long as he does it b'shinui, and the ro'eh can be open for business on Shabbat as long as he does it,
Right. Yeah. Bechlet.
The shuk can be open as long as it has its Shabbos mode.
Right. Right. It's Shabbos. So again, I don't think the stores can really justify. It wouldn't be. I don't know if it would be worth their while to sit there all day once you're buying only 4 things. Definitely not on Shabbos, because there isn't that much you can buy on Shabbos, right? But you can't buy chickens on Shabbos, right? Did I lose you? Oh, no. So we were saying that I think it'd be hard to justify having. I mean, I think this would be our dream, right? That Rami Levy would be open on Yom Tov, and then there won't be the mad rush we're going to go through next week, right? Next week is going to be a mad rush, right? Or it's already begun a bit. It's bizarre on pin, but it's definitely on its way. I mean, forget last year. Last year was really crazy, right? Last year was insane, but last year was insane anyway. But already now the mad rush for Pesach has begun. It would be a dream if we say, all those things you forget, like, I'm going to have to go on Erev Yom Tov. I'd rather shoot myself, right? Than have to go to the store on Erev Yom Tov, right? And you say, no, you can just stop off after davening Yom Tov morning and pick up whatever you forgot, right? That'd be the dream. I think on Shabbos, it would be very hard to justify keeping the store open. The way Yaakov was saying, so all the stores are going to remain open because, I mean, at least all the grocery stores, right? It'd be hard to justify the hardware store, but the grocery store for sure, right? But on Shabbos, it would be harder to just...
The fruits and vegetables section can stay open on Shabbat.
Right, but I don't know if the guy would sit there all day if he's only selling fruit and vegetables. He'd probably go special for you if that's all he's selling, right? I imagine. I haven't checked, but right. I imagine it'd be harder for him to justify keeping it open the entire time. But the truth is, it is very. No, let's see a few more sources. There isn't so much here. The Rambam says, "Dvarim rabim asur b'yom tov mishum gzerad mekach umemka." Now, the gzera you'll see is not really a gzera. I think this, when you read the Rambam, he says there's a gzera mishum mekach umemka ketzad. Ein poskim deim lechatchila al bema b'yom tov. אלא מביא שתי בהמות שוות זו לזו, שחטין אחד מהם מחלקים ביניהם, ומחר יודעים כמה דמי השנייה. כל אחד ואחד נותן דמי חלקו. Meaning, the normal way of doing this is weighing the meat. Don't do that. just take another one and say, these two are pretty much the same. So this one will shecht tomorrow, this one will shecht today, and then we'll figure out how much you need to pay based on tomorrow's cow. It's a different one, but we'll figure out then. כשמחלקים ביניהם לא אמר לו לא אמר זה אני בסלע ואתה בשניים, שנזכירים שום דמים, the שם דמים, right? אלא זה נוטל שליש, וזה רביע, right? You say proportionally and not how much it would cost. לא אמר אדם לטבח, to butcher, תן לי בדינר בשר, אלא תן לי חלק, או חצי חלק, right? That's why the reason this is an odd way of saying it, kaf achat or yerech achat. He means give me that cut. I'm not going to say how much it weighs. I'm not going to say how much I need. Just give me that cut. Give me a number 6. I'll work out the rest. ולמחר עושים חשבון השוויו, וכן לא ייקח מבעל החנות במידה במשקל, וכיצד הוא עושה מלך חנוונים מלא לי כלי זה, ומחר נתן לו שוויו, ואפילו היה כלי מיוחד למידה, ימלאנו, ולא שיזכור לו שם מידה, right? You can't say, here's a liter bottle, fill up with oil. You say, here's a bottle. We know it's a liter. We'll work that out tomorrow. מותר לקח מלך חנווני ביצים ואגוזים במניין, וכן כל כיוצא בזה, ובלבד שלא יזכיר שם דמים ולא סכום עניין, כיצד סכום עניין, ראי שהנושב בו 10 אימונים ו10 אגוזים, לא אמר לו ביום טוב תן לי 10 כדי שיהיה לך 20 אצלי, כך סתם מאוחר עשה חשבון, meaning you're not supposed to, again, once you start doing that, you start saying, give me some, because I owe you already, or you owe me already, or whatever, then it looks more like business. You say right now, and that's not for Yom Tov. What's for Yom Tov is the 10 eggs you're giving me now. The dozen eggs you're giving me now is for Yom Tov. We're not going to discuss anything else apart from that. Right? הרגיל אצלו, אצל הפתם הרגיל אצלו, וכך ממנו בהמות ועופות, כל מה שירצה, שלא יזכיר שם דמים ולא סכום עניין. He just points out, הלוואת יום טוב, תביאו אותה בדין, שאם תאמר לו נתנה לי טובה, אם לא נותן לו כלום, נמצא עניינה משמחת יום טוב. Meaning, why is it that these are all you can sue, even though we weren't explicit enough? It would be harder for a court to adjudicate a normal case when you're not so explicit about how exactly we're buying this, how is this working. We have the special takana that says we need to adjudicate as if everything was said explicitly, otherwise people won't be buying things on Shabbos and Yom Tov, because, and then you can't, you won't be able to cook on Yom Tov, right? Right now, Beseder. Going back to what I said about the Rambam before. The Rambam starts off with saying, meaning the outlook on this whole thing is totally different, right? In the Rambam, it's not, in the Rambam in Chot Yom Tov at least, it's not, there's a blanket gzeira on Mekach Umemkar, and then there are a bunch of Eterim, right? That's not at all the way things work, the Isser works on Yom Tov, please, right? The way it works on Yom Tov is not, there's a gzeira on all way on buying, on any commerce on Yom Tov. Because we want to encourage people to buy things on Yom Tov. That's what he ends up with over here. He says, we want to encourage people to buy things on Yom Tov. That's why we have to make it easier to sue the customers afterwards, because otherwise you won't have commerce on Yom Tov. Meaning, not only do we encourage presents on Yom Tov, we also encourage commerce on Yom Tov, right? Now, but what commerce specifically? Things that are for Yom Tov, and then we do all these hekerim to remind us it's for Yom Tov. We're not haggling over 1.5 kilos of meat. I'm receiving number 6 so I could cook it for Yom Tov, right? I'm changing the way we're looking at the business, because we are interested in having the business as long as it enhances my Simchas Yom Tov. And that's why the Rambam says there are many details to the Gzeira. It's not, right, the way we looked at it before, I think, right, which was there's a blanket Yisur on everything, and then you have a whole bunch of Eterim. Oh, you need a piece of meat, so you could go, fine, you can buy all kinds of things on Yom Tov. Now, it's not the way to look at it. It's not the right way of looking at it. There's a Gzeira not to do commerce for things that are not in Yom Tov and not in ways that are not focused on the Yom Tov. and then and then he lists all different things that you need, right? Now this, right, as a kid, I remember being in a hotel on Shabbos, and I was shocked that people are buying things on Yom Tov, on Shabbos Yom Tov. I don't remember Shabbos Yom Tov. People buy things, right? Pesach is coming. I'm sure some of you have been on what they call Pesach programs in the past, right? You've heard of them at least. And over there too, you buy things at the bar. You buy, right? You see people buying drinks, people buying things on Shabbos and on Yom Tov, and they just have systems and methods of remembering that they need to charge you after Yom Tov, after Shabbos. That's all. But it's not. But since you're doing it for the Shabbos, for the Yom Tov, it's not a problem. That's basically the point here, right? By the way, just one point about that: if the person working there is a guy, right? If the bartender is a guy, and he wants to write down your name, your room number, is that okay? So sometimes they have systems where they have, right, where they take the cap of the bottle cap and put it inside an envelope that has the room number on it or something like that. But can the guy write it down? So the answer is that I am allowed to have him write it down, because it's against my interest. It's not in my interest, right? I'm happy for him to forget that I bought the drink, right? He's the one who's trying to remember, right? He's the one who wants to remember to charge me afterwards. So, right. So I found the wording here and the structuring here very interesting in this Rambam, right? That he says the bottom line is it's not the way to look at it on Yom Tov, where there's a lot more to do with the raw product. Doesn't have a blanket issur of mekach memkar. There's not a blanket issur on buying things. There are many details. Many details that ultimately need to make sure to encourage